review of the COVID-19 containment measures. Recognizing that the strategic and timely interventions initiated from last year to mitigate local community transmissions of the coronavirus have been largely effective in managing its impact on the lives and livelihoods of our citizens, our healthcare systems, and the economy in general. Noting that these interventions have been escalated and de-escalated severally based on feedback reports on infection rates, analysis of health system capacities, economic impact reports, and overall Ministry of Health advisories. Concerned that recently evaluated reports have pointed to an exponential rise in infection rates across several counties, occasioned by unrestricted gatherings and congregations in breach of guidelines as issued by the Ministry of Health. In particular, 18 counties have recorded a positivity rate above 20%, and over the last week, the following counties have recorded a positivity rate of above 30%. These are Kiambu, Nyandarua, Murang'a, Makueni, Machakos, Baringo, Meru, and Nyeri. Aware that epidemiological studies and models indicate the presence within our borders of the Delta variant of COVID-19, which is more communicable and acute, and that super spreader events are likely to further imperil public health, and exacerbate the COVID-19 situation in our country, appreciating that stringent measures are now required to bring down infection rates across the country in order to avert a national crisis and secure continuity of operations in an already challenging health situation that many Kenyans are currently living in, and so as to avoid further adverse impacts, I, Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, upon the advice of the National Security Council and in keeping with the recommendations of the National Emergency Response Committee on COVID-19, do hereby issue this revised statement of containment measures via this Public Order number 5 of 2021 on the coronavirus pandemic as follows. 1, that the hours of curfew in the territory of the Republic of Kenya shall continue to be observed from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. for a further containment period of 60 days. Consequently, the differentiated curfew hours and specific restrictions for the previously identified COVID-19 hotspot zones of Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, Kisii, Nyamira, Kericho, Bomet, and Trans Nzoia counties are lifted, and these counties will now observe the nationwide curfew prescriptions as specified herein. That all physical and in-person public gatherings and meetings, including political rallies and campaign meetings for impending by-elections, are hereby suspended with immediate effect for a period of 60 days. That all other social gatherings, including weddings, celebrations of marriage or traditional unions, ceremonies of rites of passage, funeral or cremation ceremonies, and or other similar events or ceremonies shall strictly be attended by immediate family members, and at any rate, adhere to the 100-person attendance limit as prescribed. 4, that in addition to the prevailing guidelines on funeral and interment ceremonies, and to further enhance compliance with the guidelines thereto, officiators and proprietors of funeral homes are to strictly adhere to the prescribed 96 hours of confirmation of death and secure processing for burial within this period, failure to which appropriate action against management, staff, and premises shall be taken where exceptions are not justified. And 5, that places of worship nationwide shall continue to strictly adhere to the 1/3 rule for in-person worship and congregational worship and protocols of hygiene and social distance within the guidelines of the Interfaith Council. And 6, that the operations of bars, restaurants, and eateries shall continue as guided by the Ministry of Health guidelines, failure to which appropriate action against management, staff, patrons, and premises shall be taken. And 7, that national government administration officers are to secure compliance of these directives without fail. Responsibility and consequence for breach shall be borne by the national government administration officers in whose jurisdiction the breach occurs. 8, that enforcing these measures, all security agencies are directed to ensure that the organizers and/or individual leaders, including senior public sector officials and political leaders, take personal responsibility and are held to account for any violation of the measures. That the measures contained herein extend the related containment measures outlined in Public Order number 4 of 2021, issued via the 16th Presidential Address of 29th June 2021. All other rules, guidelines, protocols not reviewed through this public order shall continue to apply until otherwise notified. I thank you all.